right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Castlevania, Season 3, Episode 8. There be a demon.
Yep. It'd be time for the dungeon crawling to begin.
But the demon is spiked to a post. Okay, that is not what I expected.
Yeah, it's a very eerie implication that there is not necessarily a positive relationship between the the being and
the priors.
And the priors, which means
their level of crazy might be even more funky and fun than we originally thought.
Right, but also like who's using who here?
Right, who's calling the shits around here?
Because well, they've restrained it, which means they at the very least think they're using it.
Yep.
But this thing has made them crazy. At the very least, in some way, indirectly or tangentially.
Unless there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, unless there's something more at play. Yeah, and this is more of a servant or an avatar of something more. Yep. So, shit's whack.
It is indeed.
But yeah, we've also got Isaac on his mission, and he bumped into a very suspicious, definitely not an ancient old Forge Master lady.
And definitely not the one that specifically made that whole Necronomicon skin tome thing that Saint Germain was using.
Yeah, exactly. But she told of a magician, wizard, or something who has taken over a town of people to be his slaves.
And has a transporting mirror. Okay.
Yes.
Now, yes, Isaac does need a bigger army, but he hasn't really just gone on the slaughter all civilians route before, and yet he was saying that all humans should perish, so...
And this lady was like, hey, they should be. You should do it.
Right. And yet he also got that reminder of what some of the night creatures can be like, and that, maybe... I don't know how I feel about all this, you know.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
There's been no intelligence from the capital of Wallachia. They could be preparing for a move.
Or they're all dead.
But I don't know.
Sleep.
We can't do it without Lenore turning the Forge Master, and she's just taking him out for fucking walkies.
For walkies?
She will land him.
It's going to have to be soon.
Come to bed.
We need dead bodies, but we also need feeding stock. Hector can make every human from here to Boloton into a night creature, but that leaves us with nothing to eat.
So don't turn quite all of them.
With soldiers.
They don't have that many soldiers. They hire mercenaries.
Yes, soldiers, mercenaries, local forces. What's the difference?
Yeah.
The difference is that mercenaries can be rehired by the opposing side for more money.
You can actually
using
do
humans to corral humans.
It was an administrative problem, and I solved it.
Can you not keep it down?
Trying to sleep.
They were actually being fairly quiet.
You don't have to make it work. It was bloody genius.
Good morning. I'm going to bed.
Well, we're all awake now. We might as well have a drink. You call it a scheme?
It is a scheme.
Yeah.
Rude.
But if you insist, we can have a drink and tell you how we'll be ruling an empire next year.
He's holding things back from us, you know.
He's lonely. He wants us to stay.
Well, he did kill his father, and the people who helped him left.
It's just him in a dead castle guarding a ruined house. Now home is more unprotected than ever. But he has so many wonderful things. He can do so much for us. Give us a future.
But he stays here because it's as close to death as he can manage without killing himself.
So lazy.
I'm not lazy. I conserve my resources for important efforts.
They also
Like
stayed up
eating?
all night?
God.
Whoa.
Oh,
that's
shit.
all blood on the ground.
Yeah.
And that crest.
Hey there.
Oh.
It's not
Okay.
responsive.
Maybe it's unconscious. Or this is how it sleeps, basically. Its eyes are always open. Because it's definitely not dead. Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, it woke up.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you wandering around again?
No, not at all. Just
Still trying to talk your way out of it?
What have you learned?
well, I believe many of the previous occupants of this place had a real interest in contacting hell itself.
You mean we are not the... I mean, this has happened before. Two of our number have gone missing. But our work is almost done here.
Not soon enough, Salah. They may have expired from the satanic poison permeating the very stones and timbers of this building.
He actually did that.
Yeah.
So,
He pulled that off.
why don't you tell me how many of you there are in that priory?
You're a bit late.
Have you been eating each other in there or something?
We've been leaving. For days. Just a few of us. One a day. Walking to other towns, spreading the word.
Like an infection.
Bring hell to this abandoned earth.
This is Salah's plan.
This is our visitor's plan.
Yeah.
He spoke to us.
Okay.
We heard his voice in our heads.
The monks may actually be the victims here. Night creatures have magical powers. It may have distorted their minds.
They've got a night creature under the priory.
They didn't kill it. They hid it. Carry on.
The priory is in ruins. I suspect it's been deconsecrated. There is a night creature being held on a basement level, symbols drawn around it. The corridor is in that same basement. Salah and his men are enacting some kind of plan involving these alchemical symbols.
Okay.
The same symbols we've seen?
Indeed,
So it's
combined.
like a waypoint for the portal to
There are pages
open.
missing from volumes in the Priory's old library. They completely ignored the best part of the books stored in the Priory. Two persons who have gone through death and rebirth can be fused into the Rebis, the ultimate alchemical goal. And they didn't even think of it.
Saint-Germain, focus.
Yes, it could save the very world.
Let's settle for saving this town.
Oh, shit.
Indeed, I feel as if I've been led here to find the infinite corridor, to achieve the ultimate goal of philosophy, and to be a hero.
Okay, really calm down, though.
Yeah.
You're giving off some vibes, man.
Uh-huh. This world is imperfect.
Yeah.
All you need to know is that the Priory is desecrated, and they are somehow working with a living night creature.
So we need to go in and
Who
kill
has
it.
taught them magic.
Sadly, that is all entirely possible. Cypher and Saint-Germain will need to get under the Priory with me. Your people shouldn't be anywhere near that. Make a hole for us and keep the monks off our backs.
Do we really have time to wait for sundown?
This is my town. You do as I say.
Because from what you've said, there's a night creature between you and the infinite corridor.
Yes.
And we may only have one chance to get you past it so you can open the corridor.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Oh, wait. You're actually
Helping you.
helping me.
All right.
Don't make me change
no need
my
to make
mind.
a production out of it.
I'm so sorry. I'm simply not used to people being kind to me for no reason.
That's enough.
He saw a man try to kick a cat once, and he broke the man's leg in 3 places.
Well, you don't do that to cats, do you?
Yeah.
3 places. I heard 3 cracks.
Poor bloody cat. Wasn't hurting anyone. Cats just want to get on with their life.
We have prepared. We have restrained you as you wished. We have given you time to meditate as you asked. God has abandoned the earth. Dracula must be brought back.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
Do
Huh.
this in the name of our visitor,
Cool.
his forge master, Isaac.
Wow. Wow. Holy
The
shit.
sun goes down. We shall do what needs to be done.
So there's no grand scheme. It's just this creature is doing what it thinks Isaac would want.
Yeah. Just
Oh my god.
And maybe
My father was an accomplished magician. He held enough power within himself that he felt magically enhanced weapons to be unnecessary. He preferred physical things to be themselves.
Are you sure the castle can't be moved?
I'm sure.
Keep bringing that up.
There's not something you're not telling us? Would you tell us if there's something you're not telling us?
Excuse me.
Yeah, what kind of a stupid question is that?
It's just that there are parts of the castle that you avoid showing us.
It's a big castle, filled with centuries of material like the hold. We have plenty of time together, don't we?
I didn't notice that ring before.
Really? We all wear them. The black and the red, the night and the blood. These are the things that bind us together. The
Okay,
rings are
cool.
a sign of loyalty to each other.
It's actually, well...
Sweet.
Nice. It's a magical work, but it's also... How do you describe it? Vampire philosophy. It's fascinating.
Whoa.
So now we're not all monsters.
The importance of soil and landscape and being. I mean, actual philosophy.
Then I have a philosophical question for you.
Ah.
All right.
He's like, I'm...
It's hard to do diplomacy when the other person is in a cage. But you don't even get to leave. You haven't got anything. I have all the power, and you're a pretty man in a box.
I'm pretty. What's the question, Lenore?
What do you want?
I want to be let out.
I know. That's all I could think of. It's the only thing I can do for you.
But you're not just gonna let me out.
Well, no. Also, you'd survive less than a day on your own.
That's not true. Well, okay, that's completely true, and I would die almost immediately.
So then in that case...
You only have one advantage in this whole negotiation. I like you.
That wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think your advantage was?
You want me to do my human magic to give Carmilla an army of monsters.
That's a specific
I'm loyal
example.
to my sisters. But what we're doing is wrong. We could just leave, Hector. If you want to be with me.
She's turning on the full seduction, baby.
Because, yeah, so I guess this would be her power play.
Well, not necessarily a power
yeah, not
play.
necessarily.
It doesn't matter
Like-
whether it's a power play or not. She's leading him.
Right.
I was wondering, how does someone open the infinite corridor?
It's an appalling act of will, a combination of ancient knowledge and sacrificing something of your soul.
I think we've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, this is about to get real crazy.
Oh, that... I mean, that's a good amount of... Good
Men
amount
at
of
arms,
guards,
yeah.
All of you now!
Shit.
All we come for you!
Shit.
Oh my god.
They don't hear it. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
My god. It's just drooling with excitement or something.
It is time.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah, let's have a finale. You know, yeah, right.
Okay. So.
All right.
Okay.
This is the prelude to the finale, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
There's still 2 episodes after this, but yeah, this is very much they're confronting the priory. They've assembled the men-at-arms. The judge is basically giving them a chance to surrender, which feels very like he's
I will
a
do
lawful.
everything by the law.
I will do everything by the law. I'm not just going to go in and slaughter without giving them a
Exactly.
chance to.
Yep.
It's an interesting thing with the judge. You know,
it's a thing that will make things more complicated
It
for
will,
them.
yes.
But I absolutely believe that is his character. Like his defining characteristic is kind of he's a hard man of the law. You know.
Yeah.
So
he's almost like cold man of the law. Like,
right. So the idea of him also being like, no, we're going to wait until nightfall because I want to slowly assemble the men-at-arms. I want it to be at night so that the people aren't around. I don't want to cause a panic by having all the forces move in.
I don't want to give Sala the heads up that we're
coming. You know,
that we're coming. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is going to be by the books, you know, and all that stuff. Okay, cool.
And okay,
yeah.
I am so impressed with Saint-Germain right now. The idea that he not only finessed his way out of there after being discovered again to go shenanigans way proves, I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, that these monks are fully crazy. They don't notice any of the suspicious aspects of him as suspicious because their minds are warped by the night creature.
Right, and
it is in control here.
Yeah, completely. And it's funny because previously Salah had said to him, don't treat me like I'm crazy.
Which is proof that he was crazy, basically.
Well, right, but that's also
he's
crazy.
like, I'm not crazy. You know?
Crazy, but someone that's aware enough to realize that that's what he was doing.
Yes.
You know, and that's the scariest part of my mind,
is,
right?
yeah.
You know, because then it's like, oh, then how do you deal with that person? And yet he pulled it off here, and it worked. Maybe that's just because Salah is like,
he's getting crazier.
He's getting crazier. The ritual is just about to happen, so he's like, sure, just get the guy out of here.
He almost gave away that that's what they were doing. Like, in the moment, he's like, we haven't, I mean, in the past, you know?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, it's like, Salah, you're so obvious at this point.
Yeah.
How do you not know how obvious you're being? Well, it's because
and
he's, yeah.
In a lot of ways, if he had done something against Saint-Germain there, that might have been something that would have given the judge the excuse to be like, oh, well,
maybe.
You know, there's something happening in there. We got to go intervene immediately.
Yeah, it could also be it's too late anyway, you know? This is going to happen.
Right.
And that's why people have been leaving, is that, oh, they're spreading the good word of what's coming, which I love as we can't stop this. None of our protagonists can stop that. People are going to be made aware that they believe Dracula is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The cult of Dracula might be crazy big next season.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what happens here, because of this, if you get people having like portents of like, oh, not just that we heard tales that he's coming, but then like, say any blood moon or any kind of random thing that happens, people are like, see, it is a sign that Dracula is coming back.
Our God King has returned or whatever, you know, something like that. Yeah.
I also love it as a mechanical reason as to why the men-at-arms will be able to outnumber them. Because he was worried about, oh, we can't go and attack because they've been gathering up numbers to the point that they outnumber my men-at-arms. And then when we saw them in this episode, there was a very clear, the men-at-arms are about equally matched, but actually they outnumber the priory.
By
so
like 5 or 10.
Yeah, by a very small amount, but that's showing how many have left already.
Well,
meaning that they sent quite a few people out there.
Gotcha. I thought that was the explanation for why they have so many in that, because, you know, they'd send them out one at a time and then bring people back in. That's what the judge had noticed, is that their numbers were increasing. And how is that happening? This is why they would have one person leave at a time. No one will really notice it. They tell people about it and, you know, find some people out there that they can send back.
Maybe that's what's going on.
You know?
Yeah, that's possible.
But
okay.
All right.
Saint-Germain. We'll get to the Lenore and Hector stuff in a second here. Saint-Germain.
This world is imperfect.
My man started talking about the super alchemy whatever thing, the Repus, the perfection, the completion of alchemy.
Okay,
with
Lysander
the gusto.
off.
Yeah, with the gusto of like
yeah. Well, at the same time, not at the same time, but in the same episode, is where he's like, oh, by the way, you have to give up some of your soul in order to open the gateway, which is what I'm trying to do, and something that I already have done.
Well, this is the thing, though. Mm-hmm. The Infinite Corridor gateway is already open there. They can't see it. He can. According to what he's said thus far, it's already there.
Well, right, but being there versus, like, being open.
No. Yes, for sure. But he could be basically saying that it's already open. People can't see it unless you have the ability to see it, which I'm now realizing they're really making it on the nose that the jewel he has is just an eye of a night creature type thing, like one of the ones that the night creature has. So,
But regardless of the mechanics of whether or not the portal is open yet or not.
Yeah, regardless.
The idea that he's like, oh, there's this thing that requires some of your soul that I've already done before.
Yep.
It took about a year for me to
My
recover.
humanity is gone.
Right.
Or fragmented.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, maybe he's okay. Maybe with immortality or whatever that protects him in some way. Or maybe it just makes him worse and he's gone hollow or he's Voldemorted himself or whatever. You know,
maybe another thing is that he's trying to find another that can be his other half of the Repus. So because he's already done his part. Maybe he has gone through death and rebirth.
And that's
why
he is immortal.
Yeah, exactly. So what's more what's more than that
when he said
in alchemy?
When he said like this is the ultimate alchemical goal,
Yeah.
I was like, but bro,
You're already immortal.
You're immortal. I thought that was the ultimate alchemical goal. Grand panacea, all that stuff, whatever, right? Like, oh no, I guess maybe there is something after that because he's already done the immortality thing.
And that's why I think there's a possibility that Saint-Germain, in the lore that we know from another show, he should already be an alchemist.
Right.
So obviously, he is an alchemist.
Yeah,
here.
we've seen him do little, things and stuff like that.
But that means he's already done enough alchemy to make himself immortal.
Right.
We need to seriously reevaluate Saint-Germain and what he's doing here.
Oh yeah.
Because no.
And we even
I don't
got
trust him as far as I can throw him now.
Right, and we even got the tragic kingpin backstory and recently where it's like, oh,
I would do anything, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And I have to say also, the thing that would be really cool about this is not that he's like that Lysanderoth style twist villain. It's more that he's a twist antagonist, but it's the wait. But what have I basically been willing to do now that I've seen eternity? Like I've seen beyond the veil of this mortal realm, and I've seen spaceships. I've seen Mecca. I've seen Australia. I've seen fucking Aztec, Atlantis or whatever. Like this guy is not necessarily like a villain. He's just somebody who has been given too much. He's seen too much, and he himself is mad. And he doesn't realize it.
And while it would be potentially pretty confusing of like how do we deal with an immortal, right? We have seen that I think Treffy would do just fine. He just folds him up and puts him in a barrel, and then
we'll break his legs.
Yeah.
He can't be a problem if he can't walk anywhere.
You may be alive, but you can't move, sucker.
No, I have no.
Okay, Judge, make some like. Or wait, they wouldn't have concrete necessarily here, but it's like, all right, we need to find like somewhere to bury him. 30 feet underground.
I have no worries about him being a threat to Sypha or Treffy. I have more worries about we shouldn't let him go back in the corridor.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think he's going to do something horrible, but it's what hasn't he done that he's willing to do in order to see her again?
Right, exactly. Yep. And I think that could get into some funky territory there. But speaking of funky territory, things almost got funky in a prison cell.
True, nice transition.
Like and Hector knew what was going on.
Boy, like I don't think so. No, I think Hector's his dump stat is wisdom.
Sure.
My man is a harem protagonist.
No, right.
He ain't seeing shit.
He does not have the best judgment. Absolutely.
Insight or perception.
But okay, so.
But I think she actually likes him. Is the thing?
Yeah, that's the okay.
She's obviously seducing him.
Right, obviously seducing him.
But she also likes him.
Right. Well, and I feel like, does she though? Like,
well,
I feel like
somewhat
because
he's cute.
Yeah. Like she made the seduction very obvious, and I feel like he kind of picked up on that and is like, okay, what's going on? Is there a question here? Like this is already kind of an odd dynamic that we have here in that we're working with each other, but I'm still in a cage, but and all that stuff. And but you couldn't even get anywhere. You'd be dead in a day. And he's like, yeah, I probably would be.
Yep.
Her getting his loyalty through, sleeping with him, I get that, right? Her wanting to make sure that it seems like she is in love with him.
Bro.
I get that, right? What?
You know how this show writes parallel plot lines in an almost like
and it's the same thing that's been
way
going on with Alucard.
It's exactly the same. Now think about it. Alucard is lonely. Lenore is lonely.
Oh, she's the one that's lonely.
Yeah, she actually does like him. Not because she's being like swayed by him, but it's the idea of, well, wait a minute. I've never felt like I want to be in the thing with the other vampires. She's absolutely loyal to them, but she wants to experience the other side.
So
she wants that companionship.
The fact, I get that. I like it. I like that.
And
train
it's
of thought.
going to stab her in the back.
Well, to go with that. She was talking about diplomacy. And I got to give major props to Lenore for the fact that, like, she absolutely seems like she would be presented as the con woman, right? Where it's the, I'm going to trick him into, doing all the stuff that we want and manipulate him and all that stuff. And she might be, who knows?
Right.
But given that she approaches it from the standpoint of diplomacy and she talks about what diplomacy is, we both get things that we want and all
Literally
of that
for
stuff.
the fucking audience's sake.
Yep. Well, right. It's very on the nose. But she was basically, like, saying, hey, let's talk power dynamics here.
Right.
Because
yours is still not favorable.
Yours is still not favorable.
This is not diplomacy.
Right. What can I give you? Oh, definitely not like a porn intro line or anything like that, right? As she sits on the bed and all that stuff and it's like, hey, come sit here. But at the same time, if she truly is a diplomat, like 100% and not a con artist, right? Then it would make sense that she would want both sides to be getting as much as possible out of any kind of interaction.
Yep.
That goes for him, of course, but it also goes for her. If he is not getting as much, but then they also aren't getting as much because maybe they don't actually need him as much as they thought.
Right.
She might be trying.
I don't need to do diplomacy anymore.
Well,
we can have fun.
Well, sure, but also, if she is, I could see it being something where she could be interested in having genuine feelings because that is a way that she gets more out of their interactions, and as such, helps the diplomacy. And that's where it's diplomacy at its purest form, right?
Or it's just the, hey, I've seen your ass for like a while now. I want that ass.
Right.
So you want this ass?
Right, exactly.
Let's have fun with this.
Let's diplomatize. This is not this is
an equivalent exchange.
Exactly. This is not some you must do this as because
Let's
you're a prisoner or whatever.
each other as equals.
Right. Now, that could totally also be a thing of like, okay, the show doesn't want to have some like really, like fucked up sex dynamic or whatever. Where he's the prisoner and everything, because that would be,
Yeah, I don't think that's I don't think that's what's going on.
I don't think that's what it is, but she definitely does seem like the fourth wheel in this dynamic because you have Striga and what's her name? Not Camilla. Marana. Striga and Marana. They're in a relationship. Okay, cool. There you go. And then Carmilla is Carmilla, right? She has her whole, burdened with glorious purpose thing and all that stuff, right? So she is just fine doing all this stuff by herself, even though she has help, right? But with Lenore, I could see her being in a situation where it's like, I wish I had something more, and then that kind of lonely thing that you're talking about.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Oh.
What?
Lenore's a fucking liar. They don't have rings. I don't think they've ever had rings.
Although...
No, I don't think they've ever had rings. Like, when she said that, I was like, okay, whatever. I think she's a fucking liar. I don't see any rings.
But wouldn't that be an obvious thing to...
But if he's been in prison here this whole time, and he hasn't actually gone out to see any of them, none of them would have come here to see him.
Right.
No, she is crafting the whole narrative here.
Well, yeah, and like there's in a similar way that with the siblings that are with Alucard, there would be that part of me that would wonder whether they were being untrustworthy or whether the dialogue and the voice acting was just a bit clunky. In a semi-similar situation here, yeah, there's no rings being shown. Is that just because it's simpler on the animation and not focusing on the hands?
No.
I don't like it possible, but yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think it's even remotely possible.
Yeah.
This show, I will I will say with almost certainty, there is a clunkiness to the show's writing that I am okay with because it's a way to deliver the themes in a very on-the-nose way to the audience. What that is...
It can be a lot of fun.
And what that is, it can be very fun, exactly, is that all the plot lines in an episode, because this is not an adaptation, this is very much a... I mean, yes, it is a video game adaptation.
But the story is something that they're crafting from scratch.
You can tell they're very much crafting it in a TV show format intentionally. All the storylines have some kind of parallel through line for the most part. And thus, you would assume, basically, that they're giving a little bit more attention to the details of little things that they do. And having a literal, like, oh, what's this? I'm going to point out this little detail that didn't need to be pointed out unless it's plot relevant.
Well, and also, so there's the whole rings thing. That probably being a lie. But then on top of that, there was the fact that she said we could run away together. Normally, in a situation like this, I would think that this is basically the testing of the loyalty and dangling the escape,
the thread of like
in front of them, so that way they choose to stay with you, and that way you're it's the true con.
It was their
idea. You make them think it's their idea, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Except that she was like, me going with you, she's in the act of trying to seduce him. If that's a test, that seems like it would be counterproductive to the seduction, because she does actually want to seduce him.
Right.
She just, in that type of situation, she would just want him to stay here rather than leave, because then leaving would mean leaving her. She seduced him, so he stays, right?
Right. That's why I think it's 100% the same thing as what's going on with Alucard, except there's a way in which this can be flipped. Obviously, sorry, Taka and Sumi, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
So you are not going to succeed in killing Alucard.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Well, and they might not even want to kill Alucard. I think they
might just want to grab the castle.
Grab the castle and be able to teleport it back. That way they have a bunch of weapons and stuff for their people.
Yep.
Okay, I get that as motivation.
That's entirely what it is. But Alucard probably won't let them do that, so they're going to need to find a way to either, torture him into telling them, kill him so that they can study it until they figure it out.
Right, and they're training to kill a vampire anyways, so if they
what
have
do
to
you know?
fight
They've
one
been taught
vampire, like that, and he's been teaching them and all that stuff, so yeah. Also,
it's going to be a cool fight, and they're going to lose.
I appreciate, though, that in the scene where it showed them by themselves, we got actually a lot of scenes where we showed characters by themselves talking that we don't normally get to see that for.
Right.
That we got that overly sus bit at the end of like, okay, well, we might have to,
one
do
last
the thing.
dinner.
One last dinner. Because if you have people that have a secret with each other and they don't talk about the secret at all when they're by themselves, that can be kind of weird.
It's I will just say, I think it's also just a part of the way that season 3 just doesn't handle the Taka and Sumi stuff well at all.
It's definitely
the weakest part
I would
of
say.
the season.
And
definitively,
and that's comparing to the priory situation where the entire season has been to set up a basic conflict that we probably could have guessed once they had the story about the demon that went into there.
Right, the Isaac connection is really cool.
Yeah, that's a cool twist.
That's a cool
development
twist on it, but it is clearly also a setup for future conflicts with the Infinite Corridor, the idea of Dracula potentially coming back. That would be a cool way to also build dramatic tension towards wait a minute, we killed Dracula in the season 2 finale. Oh shit, wait, what if he came back?
Right.
Oh my god.
That would be pretty bad.
That would be a really cool way to end a season.
Actually.
Like, with the twist of Alucard, being, going through this whole, journey here about killing his father, and then his father comes back at the end of the season.
Would it even be bad if Dracula came back if he wasn't under some control of other people?
Who knows?
He got what he wanted, he died. Now, he could be pissed that he got brought back, but I don't think he would have the same, everything.
Because he wouldn't be, with his wife,
Yeah, if he saw that,
if they're already, happy right now together,
yeah, okay, if that's the case, then it's no, and then maybe he just finds something, grabs a steak, let me sleep, damn it, But if he's not being controlled, I could see it being something where then it's the stuff that he was dealing with before was dealt with, and a lot of that was in the fight with his son, right?
Yeah.
If he comes back, then it could be the thing of okay, son, let's talk,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is set up to be something scary and bad and all of that stuff. So
right, I think it's more the thing of where the infinite corridor is the possibility MacGuffin where we could have all kinds of threats in season 4. It really, there's no limit other than what the story wants to go into with that. With the infinite corridor. And in some ways, that's how you have as many spin-offs and as many other shows as possible as you have.
Funky new levels that we can go to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, Lenore, Alucard, Saint-Germain even. 3 lonely immortals.
Oh, yeah. Huh. I mean, immortality would be lonely, let's be real.
Potentially all just seeking companionship.
That's the reason that anytime you think about, like, I wish I could never die, it's like, no, you would not want that. Unless you had someone else that was also immortal. Like that.
And even then, no, you'd eventually probably go through the cycles of loving, hating, loving, hating, loving,
10,000
hating.
years, you know, it's like...
With the same person.
I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
that's how the elves get all, like, stoned Dr. Manhattan distant. You know, it's like, well, no, we've gone through...
Galadriel and Celeborn are
just
like actually like
these children.
We only see each other on Tuesdays, actually.
No, it's like, oh yeah, we're going through a bit of a dry spell of, you know,
last 500 years.
Yeah, for the last 500 years, you know.
It'll be okay. We'll come around.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all part of the process.
Super
you learn to
patient.
enjoy it, you know. Yeah.
Well, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We do streams every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.